The new business model. There's a new business opportunity for a new company. The company who is doing the power metering, the company who are doing the surveillance, the company who are doing any kind of comfort support for senior citizens at home or whatever else. The idea is that we will be in a position where for a very broad set of devices, we will have a very broad set of new economic players behind that will use the network and the internet as a tool. My last, I would say, snapshot about what could be behind this inclusion discussion is a way you can look at different industries which have never been working together to find a way to collaborate in such an opportunity. My example is about telecommunication and power networks and environment. We are all concerned with the fact that we need to do some savings on powers. We need to have some, I would say, better education on the way we are consuming energy. So if you look at the architecture you've got on the left, you've got what a telecommunication company, Cisco, is trying to think about for its own kind of environment. So it appears absolutely normal to everybody that when you've got a new device, a telecommunication gear connected to a network, that it says to the network, here I am, this is the kind of bandwidth I need, this is the kind of services that will be behind me, and this is the kind of quality of service I expect from your side of the network. The new thing is now that more and more these devices will tell the network that they've got some specific power specification as well. Here I am, this is everything that I need. And from the power point of view, this is the power I need, this is the power I can switch off during part of the time, and if at night I'm totally useless, you can turn me off. That's from the telecommunication point of view. But the opportunity is as well, and we are moving forward into that kind of discussion, to go into some legacy environment integration. So Cisco has acquired some startups working on these kind of things, because all of you know that from the air conditioning to the lighting or other kind of, I would say, systems in the buildings, you have a capability to remotely control them. Unfortunately, that might not be, I would say, using a standardized and open protocol that the way we see that on the internet today. That's the reason why we need some gateways. But more than gateways, the discussion is again about inclusion, where you have telecommunication specialists talking to air conditioning specialists. And that's where we've got a lot to do and a lot to share to make sure that at the point of time we'll reach the same way of thinking about the convergence of all these really different systems and way of thinking. On the side, you see an IP vineyard. This is from a company called Artrock, a little company working on IPv6 sensors. And this is the way to think about these new, I would say, sensor environment, things environment, directly connected on the IP layer to the internet. So you see there that we've got very different ways to enter that discussion. Some very native with these IPv6 sensors, some, I would say, progressive ones, phased approach, where the gateways of legacy environments and some which is starting to be natural about, well, you're a telecommunication company, you know what you really need, and you know the way that your equipment could interfere with these power networks. And last but not least, and this is really the future, is that the power companies from the country or the continent point of view are starting to think about the way they will manage their networks. This is what is behind this smart grid wording. And one of the paths of the future could be that all these little things on a little scale could be connected in an intelligent way to this smart grid environment. So all these power players can as well use this information together to save the energy and give the I would say lower price power to who really need it, erasing the different peaks and so on. So that was about three kinds of potential inclusion that opens the door to the future of Internet. One key thing that is behind is fluidity. Fluidity, you will find that behind the IPv6 discussion that we will have a little bit further in that panel with my colleagues. Everybody has in mind that for sure IPv6 will open the door to a large and kind of infinite set of address, enabling new things to be connected. But the real thing behind is that before we think about an infinite number of endpoints, we think that the way for these endpoints to be connected could be dramatically simplified through an IPv6 implementation. So the new IP protocol that will come in the network, that is coming already in the network, this is not about changing the way Internet works. This is about making sure that the time to market for new entrants, new applications, new opportunities, new endpoints will be dramatically reduced, and that we could see the future of all these inclusive things as soon as possible. So as a conclusion, the future of Internet, convergence and broadband, we all know about that, at least all these people who are in the room, and we know what we have to do. For the future of driven by inclusion, we know that we still have some education and, I would say, mindset sharing to do. I think that's certainly the most promising thing that we can have over the Internet of the future. Thank you, and I leave the floor to my IPv6 colleagues.